Hi everybody, my name is Joe, and today's practice is designed for athletes or anybody who uses their legs a lot, whether in a sport or just everyday life. If you're taking this class, as you know, legs take a beating. We run, we jump, we're lunging, we're doing all of these things with our legs, and they're really all contractionary movements. Those, like the explosions we're doing are using contractions of the muscles. And what we're going to do today is counterbalance that contraction and those types of movements in the legs, so that we can continue to stay healthy in our legs, to avoid injury, and also just to feel good and feel our legs in a different way. So for today, opening the legs, we're going to build a little bit of heat. And to do that, please have a block handy, something that you can use to elevate your hips. Basically, we're just going to be sitting on it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a block, just something that you can sit on comfortably that's going to elevate your hips from the ground. The other tool that we will be using is a strap. It doesn't have to be a strap. It can be a belt, just something that you can wrap around your foot like this, and feel pretty confident that it's not going to rip in half. All right. So another added benefit of a lot of the leg stuff we're going to do today is we're going to open the low back as well. So let's get started. Start in child's pose, please. So your knees come to about the width of the mat. Your feet come together behind you, and then you drop your hips down towards your heels, reaching your hands forward at about shoulders width, and then drop your hips down towards your heels as you reach your hands forward, reaching through your shoulders, getting a nice shoulder stretch. And as you draw your hips down towards your heels, you'll feel a little opening through your side body in your lower back. So right now is the time to start to focus in. We'll use this time for our own benefit, placing your forehead to the mat, coming into contact with the mat. So from here on out, for the rest of the practice, it's deep inhales and exhales through the nose. And as mentioned, we're going to try to build a little bit of heat to get into areas of the body that we wouldn't be able to get to if we weren't a little bit warmed up. So by no means a workout, but definitely a little bit of heat building. We're also going to take our time. There's absolutely no rush here. Okay. From here, please rock your weight forward, bringing your hands in a little bit closer to you, rocking forward to a tabletop position. Spin your biceps forward, press your index finger knuckles firmly into the mat. Knees are right under your hips. And then we're going to reach the hands forward, drop the hips back towards the heels. Gentle movements here, walk the hands back to tabletop. Inhale, chest lifts, hips lift. This is cow pose. Exhale, press the mat away. Index finger knuckles are engaged into the mat. Tuck your tailbone, spreading your shoulder blades apart. Inhale, tailbone lifts, chest lifts. Slow and complete exhale as you press the mat away. You can tuck your toes under, press, spread your shoulder blades, drop your tailbone down. Inhale up for cow pose, nice and slow, controlled movements. Exhale, press the mat away, just warming up the spine here, warming up the body. Inhale up. Exhale, press the mat away, please. Last one here. Inhale, lifting through the chest drawing through the arms as your tailbone lifts. Big arch in the back. Press the mat away through the inner edges of the hands. Tuck your tailbone down. Spread your shoulder blades. Coming back to neutral, we'll reach our right leg back only. Okay, so finding a little bit of balance here. If this doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can bend the knee. That'll make this feel a little bit more comfortable. You don't have as much weight extending back away from you. Otherwise, you're pointing your toes away from you and then extending through your ankle like so, and then only pull your toes back to engage the back leg. This is important for building heat. We're doing it in a pretty short amount of time, so using your focus here. Everything lifts an inch behind you. Exhale, right knee comes back down to the mat. We'll take the other side, left leg out, either with bent knee or straight leg. You're flointing, so it's a point, and a flex of just the toes, so floint. Extending back with just the ball of the left foot. Draw your hip towards the mat, trying to square off your hip. So if your left hip is popping up higher than your right hip, try to square it back down. Everything inhale. Inhale up for 1 inch higher. Exhale, lower the left knee. We'll take the right leg back again. Inhale. This time, wherever you are with your legs, either with the bent knee or the leg extended, we take the left arm out over our ear if you feel comfortable there. Otherwise, left hand can be absolutely at the mat. Reaching here through the pinky of your left hand, reaching back with your right foot. Press firmly through your right shoulder so you're not sinking down and slumping down. Push through your right shoulder. Strong in your core. Exhale, lower everything down at the same time. We'll take the other side. Left leg extends back. Inhale. Square the hips towards the mat. Right arm extends out over your right ear. Right pinky extending forward. Press through your left shoulder so you're not slumping into your shoulder. Breathing deep into your core. Spread your rib cage. Exhale, everything lower simultaneously. From here, we're going to open our right hand up to the side. Press, reaching through the shoulder. Don't slump in the left shoulder. Press it away. And exhale. Thread your right hand underneath your left arm. Drop your right shoulder to the mat. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twist. Last inhale here. Exhale, set the right hand down. We'll take the other side. Left hand, inhale up, reaching through the right shoulder. Exhale, left hand's threaded under your right arm. Gentle twist for the spine here, flowing through it. Inhale up. Exhale, left hand under right arm. Inhale up, control your breath on the inhale. Exhale, twist it over to the left. Inhale last time. Exhale, left hand down. We're going to step it back to downward facing dog. Before we do that, we'll take the hips right over the knees, walking the knees back. It's called puppy dog pose, just a nice shoulder stretch. So similar to downward facing dog, except we're staying on the knees, opening up the armpit area, pressing into the inner edges of the hands, reaching through your shoulders, and then spread your shoulder blades away from each other. Keep your hips stacked over your knees. And then keeping everything here, tuck your toes, and then press the knees straight to downward facing dog. We'll take a really big bend in the knees here. So we're not trying to find the deepest extent of straight knees. Just find a point where you're starting to feel a little stretch in the hamstrings. And we'll talk a little bit about some actions in the body to make these really simple and basic poses a little bit more dynamic. All right. First point we'll talk about is rotating the upper and inner thighs towards each other. Okay, so what I mean by that is if these are your legs, we're going to rotate them in towards each other, starting if this was your quad muscle, spinning it towards your other quad muscle. Okay, so that action is going to create space in the low back. It's going to create more space for you to drop your heels closer to the mat. And it's also going to feel a little bit more comfortable just overall. So that internal rotation. Pressing again, reaching through the hands as if you were reaching through your mat. Just breathe here. Okay, so we're going to start our leg practice. And we're going to make this a really accessible flow. So you don't have to be crazy flexible to do this. So from here, we'll drop to both knees. Inhale here. And then exhale, the right foot steps to the right thumb. You'll keep your left knee where it is and then just rise up, arms overhead. Pressing down through your left knee, reaching up through your pinkies. You can also have hands at hips here. We want to make sure our chest is stacked over our hips. This is a nice hip flexor stretch. Breathe into your left hip flexor. Take your time. From here, if you have your hands on hips, reach them overhead. Maybe gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Step the right foot back. This time the left foot steps forward. Same thing on the other side. Reach the arms up overhead. Low lunge. Lifting through your pinkies if you have your arms overhead. You don't have to be looking up. You could be looking straight forward. Chest hovering right over your hips, trying not to spill forward. Keep everything stacked here. We'll start to spill forward in a minute. Hands frame the front foot. Step the left foot back. We'll take the other side again, right foot to right thumb. This time we'll walk the left knee back to a comfortable degree. Don't feel like you need to come back a crazy distance. Top of the back left foot. Inhale, arms rise overhead. Low lunge. Different variation here, hips sinking forward. Now draw your right hip back, left hip forward, and sink a little deeper. So you can take your right thumb in your right hip crease and pull your right hip back, keeping your right knee in line with the big toe, and in between your big toe and index finger toe. And then from here, arms can be overhead. You're breathing into your left hip flexor. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Step it back, slide it back. We'll take the other side, left foot forward. Right knee draws a little bit back. Your feet or your right knee and your left heel are about the width of your hips. So don't take them too wide. From here, arms rise overhead. Find your balance, sink your hips forward, lift through your hands. Breathe here, just let your hip flexor open. Left thumb can come to your left hip crease, drawing it back as your right hip draws forward, and then you can sink forward a little bit more. Find a place where it feels productive. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Step that foot back. We'll take the other side. Right foot steps forward. Draw the left knee back just a little bit. Tuck the left toes so we're on the top of our left foot. Arms reach overhead. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and reach high with that. And then shift it over to the right. Breathing into your left rib cage. Sink the hips a little lower. Breathing into your ribs. Breathing into your left hip flexor. You'll notice we're adding on as we go. From here, come back to center. Hands frame the front foot. Step the right foot back. Left foot steps forward. Right knee draws back. Top of right foot. Feet hips width distance. Arms rise overhead. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. Reach high. Over to the left. Breathe into your right rib cage, right hip flexor. Sink the hips forward. Not here for long, just one more breath. Come back through center, hands frame the front foot. Step that foot back. Right foot steps forward this time. Draw the left knee back. We're back into the hip flexors. This time, right hand comes inside right foot. We can take our hands to a block here. Okay, to give ourselves a little bit of elevation. Your left knee does not have to be this far back. It can be here. We just want to get into our hips here. So feeling something in your left hip. If it feels accessible, you can bring your forearms to the block. You can also bring your forearms to the mat. Find a place where it feels good. We don't want our right knee spilling out to the right. We want it stacked over our right ankle. Just a few breaths here, getting a decent opening. All right, hands can come back to the mat. Step your right leg back. We'll take the other leg. This time we'll just step the right foot or the left foot outside the left hand. Draw the right knee back. Again, using the block if you need it. Coming to forearms, just opening up that left hip and right hip simultaneously. We're going to continue to address the hips and really get into the legs a little bit more here. Okay. If you're using the block, please press into it with your hands. Otherwise, hands to mat. Step the left foot back. Let's continue to flow. We're using this tabletop position as our neutral position. So from here, we'll step our right foot to our right thumb, draw the left knee back, arms rise overhead. We're going to flow through a few movements here. So from here, we'll draw the chest up and forward as we draw our hips back, shifting onto the right heel, drawing the chest forward, a little hamstring stretch. Also known as Ardha Hanumanasana, half Hanuman pose. So from here, we'll shift back into our high lunge, or low lunge, sorry. Exhale, forward fold, chest leading forward and up as our right hip draws back, left hip draws forward. Rise, low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, hips back, chest forward. We're not thinking head to foot, we're thinking chest forward. Inhale up. Exhale, hips shift back, chest shifts forward. Reaching forward with your right heel. Inhale up. Exhale, chest leading forward. You may stop at a point where your right knee is bent. That's okay. Find a place where it feels productive in your right hamstring. Inhale up. Exhale, chest forward, hips back. Last time here, inhale, hips sink forward, arms rise overhead. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. We'll step it back, slide it back if you'd like. This time, left foot comes forward. Bring the right knee back to whatever degree feels comfortable for you. If you don't feel like you have the range of motion to draw that knee back, that's okay. And I'll demonstrate with this right knee a little bit scooted forward. So we inhale high. And then we exhale, draw the left hip back, chest forward. Left knee can be bent here, that's all good. Bringing it back up for the low lunge. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Maybe scoot it a little bit forward as your left hip draws back and your chest draws forward. You can have hands on the hips this whole time. Inhale, rise. High lunge, low lunge, I keep calling it high lunge. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Reach the left foot forward. Left heel is forward, chest is forward. Left hip is back. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, hands to the mat or hips. Left heel is forward, draw the left hip back. Last time here, inhale up. Exhale, hands frame the front foot, step it back through tabletop position. This time, we'll take the right foot outside the right hand. We'll turn our foot about 45 degrees to the right, all right? So not fully at 90 degrees, but halfway between straight forward and straight to the side, all right? From here, we'll come onto the outer edge of our right foot. We'll keep our hands planted underneath our shoulders. From here, we have a few options. We can draw our right knee further away from us, coming more and more onto the outside edge of our right foot. We can take the pressure or the weight of our body into our left hand, take the right hand to the inside edge of the right leg and press it away. Breathe here, hip opener. Not sinking into the left shoulder, press away with the left shoulder as you sink forward with your hips and then press away with your right hand. Breathing into your right hip, finding a place where it feels good. Find an edge that's productive, nothing that's extreme. Okay, we'll come back to this. Hands plant inside the right foot, maybe scoot your left knee in a little bit more. Back to tabletop. Let's take the other side. Left foot outside left hand. Scoot the right knee back if that feels good for you. Left foot turns out at a 45-degree angle. Right hand plants down. We can press our left knee away as our hips sink forward. We're on the outer edge of our left foot and then pressing the left knee away from us to just some extent that feels good. Never in our yoga practice are we exploring edges that hurt. A little bit of intensity is okay, but part of advancing in your yoga practice is knowing your own limitations and knowing how to work within them and find a productive practice within those limitations. Over time, those limitations become strengths, but that is, of course, over time. It takes a while. From here, we scoot it back in. Left hand plants underneath our left shoulder. We step the left knee back. All right, let's take the other side again. Right foot outside right hand. We're going to take the right foot out at a 45-degree angle. Same thing as on the other side. We press our right knee away. This time, if you feel comfortable here and you don't want to move on, stay here. If you feel very comfortable here and you want to take it a little bit further into the quad, bend the back knee, reach around to grab the left foot with your right hand, chest lifting towards the ceiling, trying not to sink into your left shoulder, and then any degree, pull your left heel to your left butt. You can sink your hips forward a little bit more, press your right knee out away from you a little bit more. Maybe walk that foot up, forward towards the front of your mat, and then out to the right a little bit. Breathing into your hips, breathing into your left quad. This can be pretty intense. It may not look like this. You may be further back. That's okay. If you can't reach the foot, just a bending of the knee is going to feel, you're going to feel that in your quad. From here, release the back leg. Bring the right foot back to square, step it back. All right, left foot outside left hand. You'll notice a lot in the shoulders. We're supporting a lot of what we're doing in our shoulders. Spin the left foot out 45 degrees. Right hand in line with your left foot. Sink the hips forward, press the left knee away from you. Breathing into the hips, let them sink towards the mat. If you feel comfortable here and if you're looking for a little more, reach back towards your left foot, maybe grab it. Pulling your right foot in, your right heel comes towards your right butt. Breathing into the right hip flexor, quad area. Just a nice opening here. Press away through your right shoulder. Left knee draws away from you. There's a lot of stuff to focus on here. Keep a tall and long spine. Release the right leg without slingshotting. Left hand comes underneath left shoulder. Step the left foot back through tabletop. Let's take child's pose really briefly. This time we'll have both knees sort of more towards each other and together. Hands reaching straight away from us. So the knees are right under the chest. Hips are drawing towards the heels. Breathe here. Okay, a little bit more leg work here. We'll come back into downward facing dog. Now from here, we're not going to do much really. The only transition we're going to do is with our knees bent to a pretty decent degree, somewhere that feels like you're getting a hamstring stretch, but you're not overly exerting your hamstrings. We're going to spin our upper thighs in towards each other. And then from here, the weight comes into the left foot, even weight in the hands, and we lift our right leg up to some degree. Spinning the left leg inward towards your midline as you reach as high as you can comfortably access this pose with your left hamstring. Exhale, set the right foot down. We'll take the other side. Internally rotate the left leg as it rises. Flointing with the left foot, engage the leg. Breathe into your right hamstring. Let your right hamstring modulate and control how high your left leg is going. Keeping the left hip square towards the mat. Don't let it fling open. Keep it squared. Left foot comes down. We'll take the other side. Inhale up. Internally rotate, flointing. Exhale, lower. Inhale, other side, left side. Floint, inhale up. Right hamstring is controlling this. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right leg high. Internal rotation of the right leg. Exhale, lower. Even pressure and weight in the shoulders, left side. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right leg rises, floating with the right foot. Exhale, lower. Maybe you're getting more of a stretch every time. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, lower in control. Last time, inhale, right leg high. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, lower. Coming down to the knees. We'll come to our block, so something to sit on. I'll face you guys. So from here, we want our hips elevated so that it allows us to access some of these stretches a little bit more easily. All right, so I'm going to walk this block back a little bit. We'll take the legs wide, so about a 90-degree angle at the hips. All right, we're going to point our toes straight towards the ceiling. This may feel like enough for you right now, okay? If you're really tight in the hamstrings, just sitting up tall like this is a challenge. You can bring a bend into your knees. With the bent knees, draw your heels away from you. Okay, if that feels okay, hands can come down underneath your chest, and you can walk your hands forward, keeping your toes pointing straight up. You walk your hands forward, drawing your hips back, and then heels away from you. Your chest draws forward and up. Okay, so we don't want to forward fold here with the front body. We're forward folding in the hips only so that we can control what we're doing in the pose. So breathing into your hamstrings here, draw your heels away from you. Hands can be right underneath your shoulders, just controlling where you're at in your hamstrings. Walking it back, we'll bring the feet in a little bit closer to each other, something like a 30 to 35 degree angle. We'll do the same thing, heels draw away. You can stay seated here. You can also walk your hands forward. Somewhere that feels productive, hang out for 3 to 4 breaths here. Walking the hands back, we'll bring the feet all the way in together. Again, this may be enough for you. Knees can be bent. Draw the heels away from you, lift through your chest. All of those things apply to those of us with more open hamstrings. We can extend the knees straight and then walk our hands to the outsides of of both legs as we draw our chest up and forward. Heels draw away from us. We're trying to create the longest line we possibly can from the tips of our heels up the backs of our legs, through our back and through the crown of our head. That line is going to create openings that are accessible, functional, stuff that matters. This is a controlled stretch. It may not feel or it may not look like an extreme stretch, but this is something that's active. It's something that it's going to be productive for you. Walking the hands back. All right. Let's remove the block, take it onto our backs. Last little bit of stretching here. All right, we'll take the strap to the ball of the right foot, put the left heel on the ground, root your shoulders into the ground, okay? So we'll all meet here. Find a place on your foot with the strap or belt or whatever you're using that feels like it's pretty even and it's even across your foot. Okay, so you may be out here. For today, want to keep a straight knee, okay? So find a place with a straight knee that feels okay for you. It may be here, it may even be here, okay? And then walk your hands up the strap to a point where you're keeping your shoulders rooted into the ground evenly, both hips and the backs of your hips rooted into the mat evenly, extending through your left heel away from you and extending up towards the ceiling with your right heel. All right, so the end result here is a hamstring stretch. And if you want, you can pull on one side of the strap to get the right side of the hamstring a little bit more. Pull the left side of the strap to get the left side of the hamstring a little more. And then you can kind of steering wheel it, going back and forth on the ball of the foot. And you'll feel the stretch slowly across the hamstring from one side to the other, and then back. Maybe pull a little bit deeper as this feels more comfortable, continually drawing your right hip down into the mat. Lifting through your right heel, again, pulling on either side of the strap. Bring a bend into your right knee, we'll switch sides. Wrapping the strap around the ball of the left foot. Last little bit of work here. I want to make sure we can do that little steering stuff. Okay, so left hip is planted, shoulders are planted. We find a place that feels good in the left hamstring, somewhere that feels like an edge that we can control. And again, we're learning about ourselves here, so learn about your hamstring. Deepen your breath to draw your breath into your left hamstring. See if you can control and feel a little bit more just by deepening your breath and drawing it there. Pulling on the left side of the strap, then the right side of the strap, lifting your left heel away from you up towards the ceiling, your right heel away from you. Shoulders are rooted, breath is deep, and you're just playing with either side of the strap, just both sides. Then to the left knee. Final couple stretches here. We'll take the right ankle over the left knee,
Draw the right knee away from you, okay? You may stay here with the left foot planted on the ground. Again, shoulders stay planted against the mat. If you'd like, you can reach your right hand in between the little, kind of threading the needle, your right hand in the triangle between your legs. You're drawing your right knee away from you, and you're drawing your your right ankle towards your face. So trying to control that action with your hip, okay? So you're turning your right hip away from you, an external rotation, and feeling the contraction of your right hip. That's the action you need to draw your right ankle, again, the inside edge of your right ankle towards your face. As you draw your right knee away from you, you pull deeper with your hands. Release, left hand to the mat, switch sides, right heel comes to the mat, left ankle across, flexing the left toes towards the left knee. You can stay here. You can also thread it, grabbing your right hamstring. And again, you're drawing your left ankle, the inside edge of your left ankle, or your inner left ankle towards your face as you draw your left knee away from you. Pulling a little bit deeper on your right hamstring as you plant your hips more firmly into the mat. Last breath here. Please let that go. From here, bring both feet to the mat. Step them a little bit wider than hips width. Heels come to that width a little bit wider than your hips, and let your feet flop open away from each other as your hands face the ceiling comfortably at your sides, roughly at 45-degree angles. Please stay in this laying position. It's called Shavasana, corpse pose. Please stay in this position for as long as feels comfortable for you. It's a really important pose that allows you to integrate everything that you've done, all the work that you've done. Please stay there for at least 5 minutes, and I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully you can come back to this class over time to continue to keep the legs open for everything else that you're doing in your life. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.